Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Coming at you live from Brooklyn and Queens. This is Spirit Matters, your daily check-in with the Bhakti Center. I'm Dal Gurunga, and I'm here with the Chuta Gopi. Our tri-host, Kishore Chandra, is frolicking in the beaches of Ecuador this week and is taking a break from spiritual life until he gets back. No, I'm just joking. He's not taking a break from spiritual. He's just taking a break from us. We love you and we're glad that you're here. This is our little daily check-in just to make sure that everyone's okay. We're still here, and a little bit of spiritual connection to bring some remembrance into our day. How you doing, Achuta?
I'm still here.
She's still here. She's still here. I'm still here. And we're rolling. We're in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. This is your first time listening with us. To help bring us some spiritual perspective, we read from the Bhagavad Gita every day, and we're in the third chapter, which is entitled Karma Yoga, or the Yoga of Action. And we've been discussing a lot about what it means to bring who we are into the world. And we've been having some really insightful discussions about what it means to actually embrace who we are. That's what I got as a recap. What else do you got as a recap?
We are pulling up on, I guess, halfway, almost, not quite, halfway through the third chapter. Been talking about sacrifice, balancing our
Sacrifice.
lives,
Mm.
etc.
I was I was speaking with Braja Leela yesterday from Gita Nagari, and at the end of it just randomly at the end, she was like, and by the way, and she's like, I wanted to thank you, Dal Grunga. And I thought she was going to say, like, thank you for hosting this meeting or the work that you're doing. She's like, I just want to thank you for Spirit Matters. She's like, you guys got a lot of great stuff on there. And I was like, thank you. Appreciate that coming from you. Our good friend over there, Jana Vatsala's over there in Gita Nagari. Jana Vatsal's in Gita Nagari, right? That's what you said? Okay, a little heart emoji from her. So people are out there and we're listening and we love you. And so yeah, we're about halfway through. What verse did we leave off of? Oh, I remember I have a question that I wanted to leave off with. Yes. Okay, I have that ready. But let's figure out where we leaved off. What verse did we leave off with?
We left
14,
off, last
15,
one
16?
was 16.
Did we read 16?
Yes, we did.
We did read 16. So for those of you that are catching up, Achuta mentioned this word sacrifice, and really this idea of starting to recognize influences, powers, people greater than myself, and starting to live in a remembrance of divine connection, kind of like looking for that divine connection everywhere, and starting to also, we talked about the idea of doing the right thing, doing the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. And we're going to be learning a lot about this idea of detached action. Detached action doesn't mean that I don't care. It doesn't mean that I give up, but it means that I give my full heart because it's simply the right thing to do, even though I don't control the outcome. And when I start to judge my activities based on the outcome, I get in the material game of ups and downs, and it gets discouraging. I get depressed. I can get whatever. I can start to think that I'm the doer, I'm the controller. Yes, Baldavi put in the chat, detached does not equate apathy. Well put. So I wrote down, because because you were speaking really beautiful yesterday, Chuta, and I had some questions for you. Before I hijack the conversation, was there anything you wanted to say or ask, or can I just dive into my questions? I'm hoping you'll say no and I can just ask my questions. Actually, I'm not, but I just realized that I have a tendency to hijack conversations. So I need to pause and invite other people in.
Go for it.
That sounded resigned.
No, it was a go for it.
Oh, it was a go for it. Okay, great. My question was, is there a time in your life Oh, because here's the background of the question. The question was about what's the right thing for us may not be the right thing for somebody else. And when we ask what's the right thing, it's not just what's the right thing, but what's the right thing for me at this phase of life in this circumstance. And when we're looking at what might be right for somebody else, we can get confused, or we can get, and and we know social media is the best at that, at making us think that my life needs to look like somebody else's, like, or what would I do, whether I'm struggling in a relationship or in a career or in just a turning point in my life, or like whatever it might be. We start to think about what somebody else did, but that may not be what we do, um, or how we show up. And so specifically the instructions that Krishna is giving to Arjuna are for him. They're for him. This is in your, and it specifically mentions earlier, giving your duty as a warrior, your duty in your phase of life. This is what is right for you. So my question to you, my dear Chuta, was that, is there a time in your life where you had to do the right thing that was right for you, but maybe not for others? And you had to um, kind of dig deep into yourself to ask the question, what's the right thing for me, even if it may not feel like the right thing for somebody else? And what did that look like, and how do you navigate that in your own life? Because I think it's something that doesn't just happen once, but again and again and again in our life, of like, what does it look like for me to discern, you know, the right thing for myself to do in a given situation that's in alignment with my spiritual values, for me, for my growth, that even if other people may not agree or feel it's the right decision for them.
I think first off, it's gonna take a lot of prayer. I think if you have not come to a situation like that in life, then you are probably about 6 to 12 months old. Um, I think after that, everybody winds up coming to a situation where they start having to
If you're
make.
6 to 12 months on and listening to this podcast, we love you and we hope you stay.
You're so adorable too,
You're
probably
so adorable,
tiny little toes. Um, but I think
especially your toes.
I think everybody faces these things, and it's gonna take a lot of constant prayer every day. Um, I think from the very lowest mundane things to the highest things, even choosing to be spiritual. Not only does it make you feel like, okay, I have to do the right thing for me because it is the right thing for me, but you're gonna get a lot of opposition. Being spiritual in general, you would think, wouldn't everybody be so happy that we're like diving into our spirituality, really getting to know ourselves, and this self with a capital S, which is in the next verse. Um, wouldn't everybody be encouraging and really happy about, like, isn't that the thing that everybody is supposed to do? But I was just talking to a friend recently, and I said, I realized that I face so much pushback from other spiritual people and other, I guess, non spiritual people. I put that in quotes because I kind of believe everybody's spiritual. It just depends on how much we feel like accepting it or not. And some of the pushback has nothing to do with us. So some of us being told we are doing the right thing or not has nothing to do with us. For example, I every day I am in some sort of situation where I hear the following statement: so nice that a foreigner like you has taken up a religion like this. And I'm just kind of like, to be honest, just doing the best thing for me that I can do. And I'm just doing the best that I can do. And it becomes such an interesting thing because I'm like, well, what exactly is a foreigner? Because the minute you say that, it puts people on two different sides, even if it's meant as a compliment. That's not the compliment that you think it is. That's all I'm saying. Um, it makes people feel like, oh, it's so cute that you're doing this, even though you're a complete outsider. But I'm just doing what has come naturally to me since birth. I've never known anything else. It's the people who are like, oh my God, it's the holiday season. So you celebrating Kwanzaa? And I'm like, I I don't even know how to begin to tell you that I was raised a Vaishnav. Like I was raised with Vaishnav culture. I and so it's the straddling the different areas of life and really getting to know what is right for you and allowing that to be okay, because there's always going to be some sort of pushback. Now, why does this pushback have nothing to do with me? Um, Sometimes there are others who think, I should be doing so and so, and I should be doing, and my mom tells me I should be doing this. My grandma tells me I should be doing that. This person tells me I should be doing so and so, and I just can't get myself to do it. And then you see somebody else doing all the things that your grandma, mom, uncle, aunt, whoever tells you you should be doing. And you want to feel happy that someone is doing it. But at the same time, then you feel the shame that why am I not doing it? Because that's the next thing that happens, right? The comparisons. That person over there is doing all this stuff, and what happened to you? And so some of the resistance that we get from other people might not actually have anything to do with us. Some of the reactions, some of the results might not have anything to do with us. And I think Krishna is really letting Arjuna in on some of that. Like, some of this is about you, and some of this is way bigger than you. All you can control is what you do. Do that to the best of your ability. I'm not asking you to go off. I'm not even comparing you with anybody else. And this is what I love. Um, Not one time in the Bhagavad Gita, in describing the workings of the entire universe, the workings of the soul, the workings of God, not one time does Krishna tell Arjuna, why can't you be more like spiritual person number 2457 over there who has done this and this? Why can't you be more like? And Krishna knows a plethora of people,
He's
but
got our
not
numbers.
once. But not once does he say, "Why can't you be more like Prahlad? Why can't you be more like this person? Why can't you even be a warrior like?" I'm sure he has a list of people. He never says that. He never makes the comparisons that we're always so afraid of with our superiors or the people that we are yearning for validation from. He actually never makes that comparison. He just continues to tell Arjuna, do the best you can. I'm satisfied with that. The Supreme Person is satisfied with you doing the best you can. And somehow the Supreme Person is never telling you, why can't you be more like devotee over there? I just want you as you are, giving the best you can. So that, for me, is the difference between the Supreme Person and just regular persons. We tend to make those distinctions, those comparisons. We tend to uphold those comparisons even within ourselves. Why am I not chanting as much as so and so? Because, I mean, that seems to be the ideal, right? Krishna never asks for someone else's ideal, he just asks for yours.
How do you know if you are um, doing the best you can or making excuses for yourself?
I think that we have bodily reactions. Like, I feel like we have bodily cues. Because at a certain point, when we are doing the best we can in the service that really fulfills us, yes, of course, we will get burnt out, but the burnout is different. The burnout's a little bit less. Um, there's a feeling of, man, that was a full day of service and I'm tired, versus my soul is exhausted. We know when the service is draining our souls, and that shouldn't happen. There are some people who are naturals at going out and distributing books. I never really felt like that was my way, to go out on the streets and just strike up conversation with normal human and say, here, you should take this book because so and this and that and what's going on in your life and all the stuff, right? I didn't naturally feel like that was my way. But sometimes, if there's an entire society that only values that, you can feel a little bit like, well, then, am I not giving my best? But there has to be room for different facets of spirituality. There has to be room for different paths of perfection. And so I love devotional service because they don't just give you one process. Here's 9, and then here's like 36 different nuances of every process of these 9. You have so many different combinations and permutations of devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada doesn't say, why can't you be good at perfecting this one like so and so? Just focus on your one. So I think that we'll have bodily cues. Our body will tell us, our mind will tell us, our heart will tell us, our soul will tell us, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that perfect service for somebody else might not be your perfect service, but keep looking.
Mm, I love that. I was going to read a couple of verses here in the Gita because I think it was speaking to what you're sharing. And we left off in verse 16, and then Krishna is shifting into verse 17 and 18. You talk about this self with a capital S.
Love it.
Krishna mentions, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, capital S, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who's satisfied in the self, capital S, only, thus fully satiated, for him there is no duty, meaning that like there's no obligation, like you don't owe anything to the world because you're well, let me I'll read the next one because it's the next verse, they go together. A self-realized person has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of their prescribed duties, nor has any reason to not perform such work, nor is there any need to depend on any other living being. And that last line, depend on any other living being, for me, I think is a little bit of the hallmark of what I'm hearing from you, is because sometimes our actions and and the way we live our life is it's there's strategies for how to get what we want from the world and other people. You know, the way that we act, the way that we live our life, the way that we behave around other people, the strategies to get what we're looking for from other people, whether it's a sense of connection or appreciation or belonging or reassurance, etc. And so I think that when we get to this place of doing, following our dharma, as Krishna uses the word, it's going to it's almost like this correlation, this like this inverse relationship to like, to the degree that I embrace and walk the path of my dharma, there's this inverse relationship with letting go of the need for other people to validate my life choices and feel like I am doing this in order. And I think that's what Krishna so much, I mean, the Gita ends and culminates in this place of just surrendering to me. Like, listen, just like listen here, like just focus for a second. Look at me. Eye contact, It's like, who are you doing this for? And I think that that's one of the greatest questions we can ask ourselves in spiritual life is who am I doing this for? Not what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? What's my purpose? Who am I doing this for? And we find that there's so much. I mean, it's so interesting about the idea of quote unquote caring what people think, because I always ask the question like, which people? I want people to like me. Okay, which people? There's specific, it's like, just anybody, just people, one person, two people, 10 people, like we look at social media and it's like we're living in a world where 50 people liking something is a small number, you know? And it's like, we have this idea of what it means to be appreciated by other people. And we don't even know who we're seeking validation from, or what kind of appreciation we do want, or where that connection and belonging will come from. And I think Krishna is just reminding us, like, it's right here, capital S in the self. I'm right here inside, in and around you. And I think that this path of, as you're talking about, this visceral bodily reaction are like these cues of when we're out of alignment. It's like, imagine if like you got like this cold or sniffles or something like that. It's like you seem a little run down. What's going on? It's like, oh, just seeking validation in the wrong places and my body's having a reaction. Like we started listening to our body, like give us these cues. And I think it's right. And I think that it's just, for me, what I'm taking away is that reminder and that appreciation of how, um in order for us to make some of these hard choices, it requires us to let go of what we've spent so much of our life seeking, from other people.
That's not going to be easy. I just want to, I just want to put that out there. Like
Go forth
we're
and do
right. Like we're
this.
talking about it. Like, oh my gosh, like that's it. Like I just, just been seeking
I've never done it successfully, but good
all
luck
the.
for you.
But I do want to warn everyone that the path, it's not a short path. It's not a one time thing where you've come to the realization and then that's it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this Bhagavad Gita. Um,
Mm,
Arjuna is questioning this very thing. This is 5,000 years ago. So it's not a new question. Don't feel bad that like this is now coming upon you and you're like, oh my God, have I really? Everybody does it. It is a natural thing. It happens.
mm,
And Arjuna is really focusing on, but Krishna, why would you, saying you want the best for me,
mm,
want me to do something that will like disqualify me from getting the validation
mm,
of all the people that I am supposed to care about? Like, I get it, Krishna. I know what you're saying. I have to do this to protect my family.
mm,
But aren't I? I've been brought up and raised to seek the approval and validation of my elders, my teachers. Now, not only do you want me to shun that validation, you want me to kill them. You want me to look them in the eye and deliver life threatening blows to them, and then go forth and be happy with a kingdom that I get because of it? Who in their right mind? Like this, it's there's a cognitive dissonance, and Arjuna is breaking down because it just does not match up. He's like, but how? What am I supposed to do? Krishna's reminding him, but the breakdown now, the breakdown that you're having right here, thinking about the validation, thinking about what else is going to think. Was it does it equal or is it better than the depression that you felt for 13 years in exile?
mm,
The the soul killing depression that you felt when your wife was abused? Is it better? Is that what you want? Do you really want this validation at the cost of looking into your wife's eyes every day and saying, I had the ability to right the grievous wrong that was done to you? I chose not to. Is that going to feel better? Can you live like that? And Arjuna knows he can't. So now he's like, but I can't live either way. Krishna's like, you're stronger than that, though.
mm,
You are stronger than that. And so sometimes what happens when we feel like taking up our spirituality, living authentically, is going against all of this validation that we are taught? This this is your real life. This is life's goal. The duties to your family. the acceptance of your elders, your teachers, those people who have said all your life that they know what's best for you. It gets hard sometimes to trust our bodies, our souls, ourselves when we haven't been brought up to trust our bodies, our souls, ourselves.
Mm,
It's like, yeah. Trust your conscience, and I'm going to tell you what your conscience is saying. Because I have your best interests at heart. I know what's best for you.
mm,
Now Krishna is saying, but Arjuna, I know what's best for you. Arjuna's like, yeah, but all the other people also said that. How am I supposed to know that you, Krishna, are the supreme one who knows what's best for me when all my life people have been saying they know what's best? It's quite a dilemma, but it takes a lot of prayer.
mm. What does maybe we today, because we're just at time, what does prayer look like for you, and what does that look like? You mentioned prayer, and I think that word can mean a lot of things to different people or get different um images in the mind of what that means. And maybe you want to share something of what that looks like for you, or what does it take a lot of prayer mean?
For me, there is a constant coming before my supreme person. Sometimes not even like physically in a temple, but it's those moments where you stop and you acknowledge there's another person here.
Mm,
There is another presence here. There is my supreme friend here. Okay, supreme friend, I got nothing. I've got nothing. I don't know which step is right. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to lead to my ultimate benefit, but I'm going to trust. And so Srila Prabhupada often defines faith as trust. I'm going to trust that you know, because you often say you know supremely what's best, not just for me, but for everybody. And
mm,
there's one line in a purport of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a very wonderful Vedic treatise on devotional service and divine
mm,
supreme love. But one line within that says, Krishna has to provide a situation in which everyone is pleased. And so I often hang on that line. I can't please everyone. I can't get validation from everyone. I don't even know if I validate my own self half the time. But Krishna, you know what's best for everyone. So, as Arjuna has done, as so many people have done before me, help.
mm.
Show me which step is right, which breath to take, even down to the bare minimum. Like I can't even blink at the right moment were it not for you, Krishna.
Mm.
I'm gonna need you to show me what's happening. I'm gonna need you to provide the way. And it takes near constant prayer. We might never feel like I am always on the right path, but sometimes we know. Sometimes we feel it in our souls, and we give our best to Krishna, and then we pray hard. Lord, you take care of the results. I am doing the best I can. But everyone else's happiness, validation, success, failure, all the rest of that is in your hands. I've got nothing.
There is a yoga studio in the city, Y7.
Mm.
Their slogan is "We flow hard." It's about like sweat, like it's kind of like hip hop yoga, like workout. We flow hard. And I was just thinking of like we pray hard. Yeah. Appreciated that little. It's like we go hard. We
Yeah.
go hard on prayer. And I appreciate that very, very much. And I think that few people exemplify that more than you. And so thank you for bringing that home with us. We are at our time's end, and we're going to call on Kimberly to wrap it up for us, Kimberly, and what kind of takeaways we got.
Thank you. Today we're taking away that it takes time to let go of validation and to trust our bodies, our soul, and ourselves. Krishna knows a plethora of people, but never compares us with others. There's room for different paths of service. Krishna is satisfied with us just doing the best we can. And we go hard on prayer.
We go hard on prayer. Chuta, closing word.
I started looking at that verse at the beginning of this podcast. One who takes pleasure in the self. And it's just like, I'm just pleasure in the self with a capital S.
Hmm.
Am I feeling it? Is it there? Like, oh, wait. All right. I was supposed to be taking pleasure in this. Like this bhakti yoga, this getting to know the Supreme Person was supposed to be pleasurable. Am I finding pleasure? Am I taking pleasure in the self? Govinda is one who gives pleasure to the senses, to the cows, to the heart. If this isn't pleasurable, and if this is happening for so long, then I need to reevaluate. Where did I veer off? Because something is a little bit imbalanced. Doesn't have to mean that it's bad, right? We're not talking about turning bad, good, otherwise. Something is a little imbalanced because it's supposed to be filled with pleasure. My heart's supposed to feel right with it. So, just means that I just have to find where that imbalance is and try and recalibrate. So that's my question that I'm asking myself. Am I taking pleasure in the self? The capital S. Krishna's all attractive. Am I being attracted?
Thank you. My closing word or takeaway is just Krishna guide me. And those, just like, because you're talking about prayer, like prayer sometimes can feel like I gotta get down on my knees, got to get in my little corner, my little prayer room, and like, offer it all up, turn on the, make sure everything's quiet, get in my noise cancellation headphones and like really get into it. But it's actually can just be in a moment like Krishna guide me, you know, and like that could just be like a moment, like every breath. And so I just wanted to and I may say Krishna guide me, and I may still be as confused as I was beforehand, but at least I'm inviting that remembrance and flexing that muscle. And so taking a little takeaway with me. So thank you so much. Thank you all for listening. Thank you guys all so much for being here. We love you. We're grateful for you. And we look forward to being with you again sometime soon. Take care, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye.
Apparently